Hawksview, London, boxing news from the capital city, here with film director Paul King. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
We're at the Bad Blood weigh-in. We've just seen the likes of Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora weighing in. Whilst we're on the subject of boxing, Paul is a 2015 project boxing-orientated film called In Despair. Paul, tell us a little bit how that came around.
Right, okay, well, I've always loved boxing as a kid, and I had a sort of amateur career as well, and due to certain issues of growing up, I sort of come away from it, but the passion and love that I have for boxing never died, and when I got into producing film and writing and starting out as a director, I wanted to sort of go back to my first love, and that was boxing. And I just, you know, this is going to sound strange, but I call it the think tank. But when I'm relaxed in the bath, I get so much inspiration, and I just, you know, relax. And this film came to me called In Despair, you know, full length. And by the time I got out, but you know, I'd come downstairs, and they said, "Oh, you was in the bath for like 2 hours." I said, "Yeah," and I've got a new film. And I told everyone it's called In Despair. It's about a guy called Billy Brooks. Tough, hard, down-to-earth boxer. But what I wanted to do with this film is highlight what people don't see in the boxing industry, the dark side, the depression, you know. Everything that we perceive is all the glitz and glamour, you know, the birds, the club and everything like that. But what people don't see is the dark side to boxing.
Most definitely.
And that's what my film's going to bring to the screen.
That's quite, as you just said there, a lot of people, they come to boxing, they see the glitz, the glamour, the ring walks, the knockouts, the hands raised in victory, but they don't realise that these people, these athletes are starving themselves, they're not eating for days to get to that point. And I think in that terms of, many boxers have had their problems, and they need to be better documented, because there's been some tragedies in the game, Dean Powell to name a few, and I think films like yours, Paul, it's a great insight into how things really are in some cases, isn't it?
I mean, just to touch on one of the dark things about boxing, when you're up there, you're on a pedestal, and everybody wants a piece of you. It's when you lose that, and you're not always at the top as a boxer. It's just like my film Billy. He gets to the top, and then he hits deep dark depression, because you know people only want to know you as long as you're up there at the top. And boxers get into depression. They hit the drink, they hit the drugs. Not all, some do. And that's what we need to highlight, you know, because it's a tough old game. Hats goes off to them. I mean, like today, it's just a pleasure being here.
Most definitely. You don't play boxing, do you? That's a fact.
Boxing plays you.
Exactly that, Paul. You talk about the weigh-ins today and your predictions for the fight tomorrow. We'll start off with Fury Chisora. How do you see that game?
I think Tyson's got a game plan. This time round, I think he's been more tactical, and he's been more patient. Derek, I'm thinking he's going to go in there and throw everything, you know, everything but the kitchen sink at Tyson. And I think it's who's going to land first.
Definitely.
You know, I do think that Tyson's game plan is going to be more sort of defensive, you know, and most probably counter more. Derek's, I think he's going to go into the trenches and take him to war. But saying that, he could end up falling on a right hook or something, you know, like. But I my money's behind Tyson, I think.
Yeah, and we'll move on now to Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr. How do you see that, man?
For me, Billy's more of the warrior. He's been the distance, he's been tested, and he's more experienced. Chris Jr., I think, hasn't been tested. He has got a brutal strength there. Out the pair of them, I'd say Chris is the stronger. Then again, even the best boxers in the industry can have the strongest punch. They can have the weakest chin. And if you haven't got a chin that can take it, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, Billy Saunders can't be knocked out. I just think that the fight will take a different stance to what Chris is normally used to, which is boxers sort of staying away from him and giving him plenty of time to have his game plan, you know. Because every fight I've seen with Chris Eubank Jr. is every boxer's gave him plenty of time to dish out the punishment with as much time he wanted to take. I think Billy ain't going to give him the time to plan anything, you know. And when you've got a boxer coming at you, throwing everything at you, you've got less time to think of any game plan. And I think, you know, Billy might have that one.
Most definitely. Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Paul, and we look forward to a fascinating event tomorrow. And everyone look out for Paul's new film, In Despair, in 2015. Twitter handle?
Yeah, Twitter is at In Despair. Also follow me at Real Paul King. And tomorrow, Bad Blood, it's gonna be a knockout. Be there or be square.
Paul King, thank you for talking to Sports Through London.
Cheers, Simon.